Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Now I'm doing a quick update here and I'm going to be showing you some links and pages to bookmark for the new Perseverance rover mission at Jezero Crater, which will be landing later on today. I think tonight around midnight our time in the UK. It'd be obviously a lot earlier if you're in the US or elsewhere. This is a really cool page. There's loads of stuff here. I'm not going to go through all this stuff now. I'm just giving you the main links, which will all be in the description below, to all these things. And these are things you are probably going to want to bookmark and save in your bookmarks or somewhere on your computer or device, so that you can click on them whenever you like and come back and check for updates. I've got Mars Magazine page here. There will be updates every day here, new images and information will be posted here regularly as soon as it comes down. As soon as we get it, I will put it on here. So come along to Mars Magazine on Facebook, ArtAlienTV Mars Magazine. There's a link below in the description for that. A good thing to follow on Twitter is also this NASA JPL link here. I'll put a link to their page here as well on Twitter. There'll be updates on here as well also, of course. And there's some nice animations and things to look up. But the main page will be this one, which is the Perseverance rover mission overview or mission page, and it's got the timeline, it's got spacecraft information overview, instruments and all sorts. There'll also be images on here once it starts taking photographs. Here's a location map on here as well, in Jezero Crater, showing you where it's going to land. It's going to land near this area here, somewhere in this circle. I would imagine it would land on this flat area here, just here. It's nice and flat, this lake bed area. If it lands over here towards the left, there's quite complex ground, uneven, complex ground. If it lands over there, then it may get into trouble on the landing. It may be a little bit awkward, to put it mildly. So I'm hoping it's going to land over here, which I think is the plan, just over here somewhere, near this sort of crater here. There's a couple of craters here. It should probably land somewhere just around here. Okay. Now, I've already done a whole bunch of images of Jezero Crater. Here are those two craters there, the small craters in Jezero Crater, and this is the area it's going to land, just here somewhere in this circle. So I'm guessing it will probably land about here on this flat area. There's a nice flat part of the lake bed here, which is nice and flat and even and fairly solid ground as well, and if it lands there it should have no problems at all. Now you're probably going to want to bookmark this page. This is my ArtAlienTV Gigapan site here, and I've got loads of images of Jezero Crater as well as Gale Crater and lots of other craters and areas on Mars, and there's loads and loads of evidence for previous life on Mars, including things like plants, wreckage, remains, architecture and all sorts of other things and objects on the ground. Okay, so there was a civilization on Mars which probably died out a long time ago. The question is how long ago, and some of the remains do look fairly fresh. In other words, there may well be life still there now, or there was recently. Okay, now if you're new to my channel, don't be surprised if we start finding similar things that we have found in Gale Crater and places like that, also in Jezero Crater. And I've done a bunch of videos on that already. If you go to my channel, ArtAlienTV, you will see there's a whole bunch of videos here about Jezero Crater. There's this one, Mars Village by Square Building Complex, Jezero Crater. There's also this one, Mars Giant Vine Plants. That's an area just to the west of Jezero Crater, as is this one here, Canals on Mars, Part 1, Jezero Town. There's a whole town here, and there's all sorts of structures and roads and what like little canals and things like that, just to the west of a few miles from where the new rover is going to land in Jezero Crater. Okay, there's loads of these, as well as hundreds of videos on Gale Crater and other parts of Mars, as well as the moon and stuff like that as well. And there are all sorts of crazy structures and things to see. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, don't be surprised if I start finding similar things in Jezero, and I fully expect to. the actual area where it's going to land, I would expect in the actual lake bed to find possible fossils, marine fossils and things like that. Just like we found in Gale Crater on Mars, where there are lots of fossils of marine creatures as well as all sorts of other creatures as well. So don't be surprised if that happens. There's also other links which you can get from here as well. There's loads and loads of stuff here you can check out. There's loads of information on its actual descent as well, and all the instruments and everything else. I'm not going to go through all those now. I will be going into a lot more detail about these various instruments and how the rover is going to work and how the images are going to look and everything else. And I will be posting them regularly, any updates on Mars Magazine, and any images we get of any note I will be making into Gigapans and putting on my Gigapan site here also, to go with all these other Mars and Moon and other mission images here, okay? And I just uploaded a new Gigapan last night, or this morning I should say. This is Sol 618 from the Curiosity rover, and this is fairly typical of Gale Crater, and I would imagine some of it may look quite similar to this in Jezero Crater. Now, I actually found these a few years ago, but I haven't put them up in a video before. I may have shown this thing here. This is the remains of a statue, just here, sort of egg-shaped head or face, but it's actually a three-dimensional object, so it's not just a face, it's a three-dimensional statue part, the head of a statue, okay? But interestingly, and I haven't shown this before, near it there is what seems to be a lizard just here. And you can see under this rock, it's very dark under this rock, so I've had to brighten it right up. There's the raw clip there. And here we can see what looks like a lizard. And you can see his eyes there, nose here, mouth, and the body, and a possible leg here. Can't see the other leg, it's sort of hidden behind this thing. It's not very clear. This thing is quite small. This is probably only a few inches long, and I've located it on the map here for you. Now, my Gigapan page there's about 100 images on here. There's loads of new ones that I've just put on there of Jezero Crater, but most of them are Gale Crater and other areas of Mars, where I found lots and lots of evidence for previous life on the surface. And this is a good example. We got this sort of ridge line where we got this statue. There's the statue head, just there. And to the left of it, we have this overhanging rock, and underneath that rock is the lizard or similar creature, just there, okay? If I show you that with the magnifier, you can see, just there, you can see his eye. Now, you won't see this very clearly unless you take a clip and then brighten it up like I've done, but I've done that for you anyway. There's also this strange thing, this object sticking up here, and some very strange looking rocks here. Now, I think this is possibly a piece of metal that was part of some reinforced concrete. Now, I've shown many, many examples recently of reinforced concrete on Mars in this area. A lot of this stuff is concrete. There were buildings here and all sorts of things on the ground. And occasionally we see parts of these metal bars that were in the concrete, reinforced concrete, that are exposed where the concrete has eroded away, leaving the inner structure poking up or poking out, just here. There's an enhancement of that down here, so you can see that in a bit better light, where I've brightened it up here, as you can see. You can see that sticking up. That doesn't look like a rock. This looks like a metal object that was possibly inside some reinforced concrete. There's this rather strange looking head here, another carved head. Very strange, this one. We got the main one here, just here, which is kind of egg-shaped almost. Just there. Okay, and then we have what looks like a lizard or something very similar, just here, which is only a few inches long, just here under the rock. Okay, so that's Sol 618. I mean, these images were taken a long time ago, but I was going through all my Gigapans, and I've done over 1,000 Gigapans. I've only uploaded about 100 of them so far to this site, but I will be uploading all the new Jezero Crater images as well, and putting them into Gigapans and making montages like we have here to show you. But I'll also be uploading all the interesting Gigapans that I've done in the past over the last couple of years as well to this site, if it will let me upload that many. But I'm only going to upload the ones that really show interesting things. I've got over 1,000 Gigapans, probably about 2,000, but probably only about 400 of them are really worth uploading, maybe 500, that actually show objects and creatures and remains and wreckage and architecture and that kind of thing, buildings. And there are many on this site that show that sort of thing, and you can go through these yourself in your own time. I do recommend that you bookmark this page, because there'll be loads of new Jezero images on here in full resolution, in clear colour images that you can check out as well. I'm hoping that the image quality won't be downgraded too much on their actual page, because basically what they'll do, they'll be putting up the images onto this page, and I'm hoping they don't over compress them too much and destroy a lot of the image detail like they have done with the Curiosity rover. Okay, a lot of the Curiosity images are okay, but a lot of them are over compressed and damaged where they've downsized the image to go on the website. I'm hoping with the Perseverance mission here that they don't do that. I'm hoping we either get pings or TIFFs or high quality JPEGs, not low quality ones like we normally get from the Curiosity rover. So that'd be interesting to see what they do there. I've already found evidence for buildings, plants, a town and everything, either in or near Jezero Crater, a lot of it on the west edge, just outside Jezero Crater, okay? This complex here, this square complex with buildings in it, is right on the edge of the actual crater. In fact, you can't see it on this image, but if you were to see the whole crater, this is the northwest part, the rim of the crater comes around like this, and that complex is over here, right on the edge of Jezero Crater. So there'll be lots of updates to come. There's lots of images on my Gigapan page, as I said. So bookmark that main page, because basically there's going to be loads of new stuff coming up in the next months and coming years from this mission. Just before we go, there's a close-up of the lizard, just there. You can see that there's a body, a possible leg here, a nose here, mouth here, body, a straight back, a leg here, possible leg. Not a lot of detail here. Body comes down like this. I can't see the tail. This may also be a leg, I'm not really sure there. But you can see, just here, an eye with a dark part in the middle and a lighter part around the outside, okay? Just there. So is it a lizard or something else? It looks like a lizard, but it might not be. There's the statue. It's pretty obvious what it is. It's not very clear in the raw image, as a lot of these things aren't, until you actually brighten them up. You can't always see these things very well. Because you look at it, sand-coloured objects made of rock, surrounded by sand and other rocks of the same colour, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if they used the same orange filter on the Jezero Crater images on the ground as we've been seeing in all the images from the Curiosity rover. So everything looks the same sort of orangey brown sort of colour, like this, sandy colour. And it's often quite hard to spot stuff because it's all the same colour and all looks fairly monochrome. So you need to colour correct these images or brighten them up a lot, like I've done here, to actually see what's going on. But you can see the eye. You've got a really strange eye looking up there. You've got another one here which looks damaged. We've got rather a eroded nose here, but we've got quite a clear mouth with a lower lip there and the chin coming around like this. And this part of the head is broken off. I would imagine it would have been more evenly shaped like this before it broke. Okay, so a lot of these things are smashed and broken. There's the eyes. Uneven looking eyes. This one looks like it's been damaged. There's a lot of erosion and damage to these things on the ground. But occasionally we do see some, like I've shown on my channel, that are in very good condition. Depending on what they're made of and how exposed they are on the ground, how far away they are from any cover, like if there's a rocky overhang or large rocks behind it. Often that will shelter these things and help them survive the wind erosion. I will keep you posted. Check out the links, as I said. More to come on Jezero Crater. Operation Jezero is about to hit Mars later on today. So fingers crossed. Let's hope it all goes well. I'm sure it will. And I'll see you soon.